Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Rant, time for the SmackDown Spoilers. For this coming Friday, January 17th, 2014, and the show was taped in Worcester, Massachusetts. Yeah. Minor note, The Miz is on commentary with JBL and Cole tonight. And apparently that's the whole night. So, I don't know if they're trying to test Miz out to see if he would be better suited to being a commentator. They don't seem to have a whole lot of faith in him as a wrestler. You know, at least as a main eventer. Anyways, the show starts with the previously announced match of the New Age Outlaws, or the Old Age Outlaws, versus the Rhodes brothers, Cody and Goldust. The Outlaws do their shtick at the beginning when they're coming out, but they don't mention Punk. The match is going back and forth until Vicky Guerrero decides to come out and interrupt, and she gets booed so loud that you can't hear what she says. But it's something about brother versus brother. I can only imagine this is setting up for the match, the match that they've been wanting to do for a while, which is Cody versus Goldust. They're going to have them lose the tag titles, and the team will split up, and they'll be feuding against each other. And, right, the crowd booing so loud. They'll probably fix this for the showing on Friday. These are notes that were, again, the notes come from NoDQ.com, but these were from a guy who was actually in the crowd at the show. So, I'm sure they'll fix it for when they show it on TV, as well as something else that comes up later. But anyways, Vicky Guerrero comes out and interrupts. Billy Gunn takes advantage of the distraction and rolls Cody up for the win. And it's a non-title match, so yeah. The New Age Outlaws win. Whoop-de-doo. Cutting backstage to Renee Young, she interviews CM Punk. And Punk calls out all three members of the Shield for tonight. After that, Paul Heyman comes out, and he starts cutting a promo. He puts over Brock and says that Big Show would never hurt him because of Brock, and says that Brock will be on Raw this coming Monday. Big Show's music hits and he comes out. Heyman runs away through the crowd, and Show has the replay from Raw the other week when he tossed Brock across the ring. And after the replay, Big Show says this time he will knock Brock out. So he's going to give him the KO punch. Next, for some strange reason, they decided to have some of the divas do ring announcing for some of the matches. And this is one of them. And for some idiotic reason, they let Eva Marie announce this match. And this is the thing I mentioned earlier about fixing things. The notes said that Eva Marie was ring announcing this match, but the audio goes out on her halfway through. So her delivery is so bad the audio equipment can't even take it. They decided, fuck this, we're done. Let this bitch yammer on, she's not gonna say anything cool. But anyways, the next match is Rey Mysterio versus Alberto Del Rio. Mysterio cuts a promo mentioning Batista. This is, I guess, before the match. It is before the match. He cuts a promo mentioning Batista, but Del Rio jumps him and attacks to start the match. There's lots of back and forth action. Del Rio works on Rey's knee, and honestly, why wouldn't you? Rey hits the 619, but Del Rio blocks the splash by getting his knees up. Rey blocks a kick, and rolls Del Rio up for the win. So that's 2 matches in a row now that we get a lame roll-up finish. After the match, Del Rio decides he ain't gonna take that shit, and he decides to beat the fuck out of Ray. He beats him down, and then he locks in the cross arm breaker, and he won't let it go until the referee comes over and breaks it up. Whatever. Up next is Naomi versus Tamina, with Cameron and AJ both at ringside. The match was described as a very sloppy Divas match with several botches. Cameron attacks AJ at ringside and beats her down, and Naomi wins after a springboard flip off the ropes. I don't know exactly what that means, but who cares? Moving on. After that, we get a recap from Raw this past Monday. The main event with Bray and Bryan and the Usos, and I'm guessing mainly what they recap is Bryan beating the dog shit out of Bray Wyatt. And then the Wyatts come out, and Bray cuts a promo. I didn't bother writing all of his dumb shit down because it's really stupid. The main point is, he ends the promo by saying that he gave Bryan a chance to walk with the Reapers, but now he will burn. Whatever. We cut backstage to Renee Young again, who is interviewing CM Punk again. And Punk says he's also calling out... he says he's calling out the Shield and the Outlaws. All 5 of them. Renee asks if that's career suicide, and Punk says it's a gift for the Authority to do what they want. Up next, the Bella Twins announce the next match, which is Fandango versus Big E. And Big E wins the match with the big ending. After that, we get a couple of promo videos, basically one for Batista and one for the Ultimate Warrior. I'm guessing it's basically a Hall of Fame, the same one they played on Monday. After that, backstage with Renee again, who this time interviews the Shield. There were no notes on what they said, so whatever. Next, we get Oksana announcing the next match, which is the Usos versus the Real Americans. Zeb Coulter comes out in a wheelchair to sell the beating from the Big Show, which is weird because he just got punched in the head. It's not like Show broke his legs. I guess he's still wobbly, so he doesn't want to try walking and fall on his ass. Whatever. Right, he comes out in a wheelchair, Coulter does, and he cuts a promo before the match. And then the Usos come out, and they have their ribs all taped up. So again, they're selling, the match for Monday. Both of them, I guess. The Usos are able to get the win in the match, but it didn't say how. I don't really care, so moving on. Finally, we get the last segment of the night, which is Punk comes out to the biggest pop of the night, and he starts cutting a promo saying that, unlike the Authority, he isn't a coward. And he runs down Triple H saying that he hides behind his wife. The Shield comes out from the crowd, of course, and the Outlaws come out from the stage, and they surround the ring, and they're getting ready to jump Punk, obviously. But then Kane's pyro goes off on the stage, and he comes out and tells everyone to stand down. He continues to say that Punk's anger is misplaced, and the Authority wants him to main event WrestleMania. That's why he's in the Royal Rumble. And he also says that he gives his word that his new directive is to make sure that Punk gets the respect he deserves. Kane leaves, but Punk calls him back and insults him. And so Kane says, "Get 'em, boys," and Punk is beat down by the Shield and the Outlaws. And then Kane comes in and he chokeslams Punk and then stands over him before heading to the back, and hence the end of the show. So, that's SmackDown for ya. So, yeah. It doesn't really sound like that great of an episode, honestly. I don't know. Whatever. So there's SmackDown for you. A couple of other notes is news came out today, I think, that Daniel Bryan suffered a concussion during the cage match on Raw. And it was apparently early on in the match, and yet he still finished the match and was able to give Bray the beating after the match. So, yeah, but Bryan apparently has a concussion. He'll probably be out for a couple of weeks. I don't know if I mentioned this, but Dolph Ziggler also suffered a concussion a week or so ago. It was during a taping for Superstars or Main Event, I'm not sure which, but it was in a match with Ryback. Ryback clotheslined him way too hard, and so Ziggler's got another concussion. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but yeah. But now Bryan has one as well, and so that sucks. He'll be out for a couple of weeks. Or, they might have him just show up and cut promos, but he probably won't be wrestling for a couple of weeks. And also some news that came out today is that, it came out last week that Mae Young was not in such good shape, and she was taken to the hospital, and then she was released from the hospital. But news came out today that Mae actually passed away. And yeah, so probably should expect a sort of a memorial video for her to be on Raw, probably. They might even try to put one on SmackDown. And she already in the Hall of Fame? I think she's already in the Hall of Fame. I was going to say they'll probably put her in this year since she's dead, but I'm pretty sure she's already in the Hall of Fame along with Moolah. Anyways, I believe that will conclude this episode of the Wrestling Rant. Once again, the SmackDown spoilers for January 17th, 2014 from Worcester, Massachusetts. So, thank you for watching. Join us on Monday when we will be going over Raw. And that will be the 20th, which will see the return of Batista. Oh goody, I can't fucking wait. Can't wait to see him stumble over his lines and trip all over himself. Anyways, like I said, that's it for this episode. Join us Monday for Raw, and we will see you next time.